Test 1, 2, testing 1, 2. Hello, hello, hello. This is the mental block with RJ and Ficino. Hello, hello. So we're talking about today. We'll be talking about this. Oh my God. Yes. Are we live now? Today we'll be talking about and we are live. I believe we are. Anyways. But yes, we are live. Today we'll be talking about changes being made to copyright laws. That would be the biggest thing being something brought up by Senator Tom Tillis. The real buzz on Mr. Tillis here is he has announced a streaming bill that would allow for people to be charged with a felony if they were using copywritten material. Now, this opens the floodgates to a lot of issues. And I don't think government can actually reach this far into this, but it's worrisome because the language used in the bill is, in my eyes, very, very loose. And it's loose because you look at it and it says in one section that, hold on one second. I want to share this with the world. Make sure this is shared. Yeah. I'm going to share this. So I don't know why on YouTube it's flipped. Oh boy. We'll wait until we gain a little bit more of a general audience. I don't suspect we'll have an audience, but who knows? Uh, Transition to me. Here I am, the man here. Yeah, see? There I am. That's my face. Oh my God. A lot of people are talking about this bill. Man. Let's see, I shared this and see if it there we go. Oh, and it is facing forward. It just faces backward on the monitoring for it. That's interesting. We'll wait until more people log on. That's usually the consensus here, is to wait until more people are, available and would like to talk about this. It is a big issue, and I really wish a lot more people had this interest in mind to talk about this. Um, I'll be happy to actually share the bill presented by Mr. Tom Tillis of North Carolina. It really has been sweeping the Twitch world, because a lot of them are concerned about whether or not their content will justify a fine or possible criminal charges, possible jail time. I'm it's I can't even imagine, like I'm getting into content creation right now, and if I were to show a blip of something that is copywritten material, if this were to pass, I would then go to jail, possibly. Um, but what has to be proven prior to that is whether or not I am using it for gain in fine if I'm using it for financial gain. There's a video on this that goes into great detail, and I'll be happy to actually put it on my screen right now. What Here we go. I'll pull it up right here. You'll be able to actually hear it. Let's see here. He goes, this guy that I'm going to put on, his name is Ian Corzine. He is a lawyer that specializes in copyright cases. And he has created actually 2 videos on the recent copyright changes that are taking place. I encourage you all to watch this video. I'm going to be sharing a segment of this video because I can. Let's see here. I'm really not going to show the whole video, but I'm going to share with you a segment of the video. And this will go into whether or not Twitch users are affected in this manner. So we're going to go ahead. I'm going to full screen this video for you right now. There we go. And I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to add this to my screen right now. Actually, I won't do that. I'm just going to go ahead and have you all listen to it because it's a little, I think that'd be a little easier. I'm going to actually move my face. Boom. There we go.
Commercial advantage or private financial gain. There's a debate out there. It shall be unlawful to willfully and for purposes of commercial advantage or private financial gain, offer or provide to the public a digital transmission service that, all right, so as you look at this law, it's not only this section B, but it's also got to be these subsections 1, 2, or 3. But we'll first focus on section B. It does say it shall be unlawful to willfully. That indicates to lawyers that you must violate this law with intent. It can't be an unintentional use of copyrighted material without permission. So using this particular part of the law, this will inform us that if you are a Twitch streamer, you are a YouTube streamer, and you're including in your stream unintentionally copyrighted work that you don't have permission to use, then you would not be violating this law. It has to be a willful violation of this laws. And for the purposes of commercial advantage or private financial gain, there's a debate out there about whether or not getting ad revenue from either YouTube or Twitch or another social media platform constitutes a commercial advantage. I would argue that it does because a lot of you Twitch streamers, a lot of my clients make a lot of money from streaming. So I would argue that that's the case. However, there is a substantial argument out there that says that a lot of AdSense revenue is real low. And so it doesn't equate to commercial advantage or private financial gain. That's a debate for another day because the bottom line is in order to violate this new proposed law, it must be willful. You must use the copyrighted content without permission willfully. And let's move on to section 1 and 2. And is primarily designed or provided for the purpose of publicly performing works protected under Title 17 without the authority of the copyright owner. So it's not only got to be a service, it's not only got to be a willful violation, but it's got to be, the service has got to be primarily designed or provided for performing these works publicly, meaning streaming, without the authority of the copyright owner. And then it says, or has no commercially significant purpose other than to publicly perform these works. Some of these services, these companies out there don't explicitly say that they are out there to make money selling streams. They just offer them and people pay them for them through donations or some other way. And so this part of the law is there to trap those people who don't explicitly say they were selling pirated streaming content. And I'll take you down here. I circled or because I wanted to emphasize the fact that a violation of this proposed law that was introduced by Senator Tillis not only requires a willful violation, a willful pirating of copyrighted content, but it's also, you need to be able to prove item number 1, primarily designed for public performance of this stolen work, no commercial significant purpose other than to perform pirated streaming content, or is intentionally marketed by or at the direction of that person to promote its use in the publicly performing works protected under Title 17 by means of digital transmission without the authority of the copyright owner or the law. So this is quite a hurdle for the government or whoever is trying to prosecute a violation of copyright law, the DMCA law, because you've got to prove this willfulness. And proof of willfulness or intent is difficult as a lawyer. It's hard sometimes to be able to get information, either it's testimony or documentary information that says, yeah, I willfully knew that I was violating law by providing this streamed content I did not have permission for. So this is quite a hurdle. And this is one of the reasons why a lot of people out there are saying that this new proposed DMCA law actually does not affect the individual Twitch streamer or YouTube streamer, because they don't have a willful intent. They are not a service, and they are not formed for the purpose of displaying copyrighted content without permission. So that's one of the reasons why they say, hey, you know what? All this big deal about this DMCA law actually wasn't a big deal, because the law was specifically drafted to affect a digital transmission service and not an individual streamer. All right, now we move on to the penalties section of this new proposed DMCA law. It says any person who violates subsection B, which is above here, shall be, in addition to any penalties provided for under Title 17 or any other law, 1, fined under this title, imprisoned not more than 3 years, or both. So if there is a violation of this law, it is technically a felony, because under federal law, any statute that imposes punishment of more than a year in jail counts as a felony. Now, of course, we've already talked about it. There are a lot of hurdles to proof of a violation of this law, but it is important to understand that this is a strongly worded law. If this was ever interpreted in a different way, maybe interpreted so that individual streamers could be found to violate this law, then this would be a long prison sentence, and it definitely would be a federal felony. And now we come down to Section D, which is the rule of construction. And
what he's about to go into is he is going to say that, so in the rule of construction, he is going to essentially describe that these platforms would end up becoming null and void of any of these charges, which takes the responsibility away from the platform to make sure that they are not allowing for people to show copyrighted material or pirated material, which to me is stupid. Let me just say that right now. YouTube already takes down content. Here, I'm going to actually switch to my face because I want you guys to see my face. YouTube already takes down videos that have music that is copyrighted music. They already do that. They already do that. On top of that, I think Facebook also takes down any pirated content. I think Twitch does too. Twitch takes down your video if you can't show, or if you are using like licensed music. I guess my confusion is how this law can proceed, how this bill could get passed into law if there's already so many provisions to make this not able to happen, I guess is my point. It also stretches to any copyright material, that being any pictures, music, clips of film. And that, I think, to me, that's a problem. And it's going to cause a bit of a problem to Twitch streamers that make a portion of income from streaming and doing such. This is a difficult time as it is. And I think this adds a whole other layer of negative possibility for like anybody that uses licensed material in their product. I think the access to copyright material, or to be able to pay for temporary rights to music and such, should then be made easier for these people. so that they end up, they give then a portion of that income that they're making off of their content to the rightful copyright owners. Who does this benefit to? And that's another big thing that I want to bring up, because a lot of people have it confused and they like to say that, oh, well, this ends up being great for artists, right? That's the whole reason copyright became a thing, is because artists were just, they were getting screwed. People were stealing their stuff. Nah, not necessarily. That's not where this is going. In fact, it's these record companies and big media corporations that end up benefiting from something like this. They will end up taking little Joe Schmo that's doing pretty solid on Twitch, and he decides, hey, I'm going to play an Elvis song on my stupid Twitch channel for like a good 15 seconds. And then rather than give him a simple cease and desist, rather than take the video down, they are going to charge him a fine, and they will likely give him some sort of trial or criminal sentence, which is dumb. And that to me is a problem. Let's say a video goes viral now. A video goes viral where, some guy is dancing to some music and whatever. That all of a sudden can't happen. You cannot have success from copywritten music or copywritten pictures or animation or any of that. To me, this is almost like as hard as like the Mickey Mouse Act. And I want to bring that up to you guys real quick. The Mickey Mouse Act was for Disney and other, it essentially extended the use of characters and stories to like their ownership for like years. So then Disney has the rights to a certain character and no one else can have them for like decades. It's almost an entire lifetime. I think it's like 60 years or some nonsense like that. So that's why then you don't see other, they own a portion of the rights to like Snow White or Hercules and all that nonsense. Oh, and a law like this also then benefits something like Disney, because then if their music or if their anything that they own gets used in something, copyright law will then be preceded. Strangely enough, I don't. The longevity of this is I don't see this getting past Congress without, I don't see this getting passed into law until the language in this is more clear. Because for right now, it just says, it describes that this bill is targeting a service. They're trying to claim that it is I want to use their terminology, a digital transmission service. And if they then change the terminology, and this man, Ian Corzine, the lawyer that handles all copyright issues and does a lot of social media for it, if the term service then goes into reference as person, if that word changes to, and it can very well easily change to person in a court of law, that person will then be prosecuted for upwards, the maximum sentence would be like 10 years. That is a felony charge on somebody's records. Minimum of 3. I can't stress it enough. I think that Congress needs to go through this with a fine-toothed comb, and the language in this bill needs to become more clear and should ensure that Twitch streamers as well as content creators are safe from any criminal, unbeknownst to them, criminal activity. You know what I'm saying? I think that's my only concern in that regards. Um, Now the reason that I've decided to make this live stream today is because I also would like to talk about other changes realm of in the realms of social media, as well as just a media presence. And in regards to that, I'd like to talk about the this is a little late in the game here, I know, but WWE's Vince McMahon has decided to make a provision that states that their employees can no longer have a Twitch account and can no longer make an income on their name or their presence, which that is outside of WWE. And that to me is a huge problem. And I don't think that I think these guys, because these guys aren't employees. These guys are, according to their contracts, they are contractors. They are individually signed contractors, but they should be treated like employees, like actual employees. If the what entails is they cannot use their likeness for their own personal gain. I just think that's silly. Um, I feel like it goes along with these copyright laws, because there's so many provisions, and soon I feel like this is going to end up being the big business mentality, to where you end up solely where the company ends up solely using your likeness, and that's not good. I don't think it's good. A lot of this live stream is going to be me rambling, because that's just what it is. It's I like talking on these issues, and yeah, it's right now I'm just browsing the old social media, browsing my Facebook, which that's all in an uproar right now. I just I cannot stand. I simply cannot stand that this I hate bringing up COVID, because I thought I was going to be mostly talking about social media. I hate that this COVID relief nonsense is the big news right now. I hate it. Actually I really wish that we would get a sense of relief, but we're just not. We got people that have their own interests in mind, and that just sucks. That absolutely sucks. I just now, we got Donald Trump saying, "Hey, I could do better. Give him 2,000, or I'm not going to sign this bill." But then he goes on to say this bill's got nothing to do with COVID and blah 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 blah. I'm like, well, I don't know. Doesn't really seem like he actually read it. It seemed like he was just listing off a bunch of bullshit, and it's just how did we get to this point? I don't understand how we got to this point, really. If I'm going to be frank, I don't understand how we got to the point of people. I don't get it. I really don't. I don't get how we have a representative that just talks way out of his ass. Like way out of his ass. He does not know at all what he's saying. I can actually
$900 billion. Throughout the summer, Democrats cruelly blocked COVID relief legislation in an effort to advance their extreme left-wing agenda.
Their advanced left-wing agenda. I just don't get it. I don't get it. I'm gonna delete it. I'm done. I am done for right now. Boop. End.